have a challenge for you. Do you want to learn 80% of what you need to do in Lightroom by learning only 20% of the feature in less than 30 minutes? By the end of this video, you will be able to do most of the things that a photographer can do in Lightroom, but I will only really have taught you 20% of Lightroom, but it's the 20 most important, the essential. See, I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, I used to be a salesman. I had 4 kids. I was desperate to be a photographer because this is what I've always wanted all my life, but I needed a lot of money to take care of my family. I was trapped by my financial life where I just, was not gonna quit my day job as a vice president for sales to be a photographer, but I was dying because I really wanted to be a photographer. And then, long story short, but one thing that did happen is I became the assistant of 2 major photographer for just a week on both of them, and that totally changed my life. I developed it and I learned something called the natural drama formula, which is what I'm going to teach you today. In the next 30 minutes, I want to teach you the 20% essential you need to know as a photographer in Lightroom. You need to really master this 20%. You will be able to do 80% of what a photographer needs to do. It's the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your result comes from 20% of your effort. It's kind of the same idea. Once you know the essential of a software, you can build on this. And in the next 30 minutes, you will know it all. Let's go. Okay, so we're starting with an SD card. I've got a few raw files that I selected for this. I'm going to put it into my computer, and you will see this will launch the import window. Or if it does not, I can just go to File, Import Photos and Video. And you can see here is the different sources. So that's my hard drive, and Untitled is actually the special card that I have where I made a selection of raw files. So this is the raw files which are here. You can make, the thumbnail smaller or bigger. They're all selected. So in this case, I want to move them from my SD card, and I'm going to put them in a special location. So what I do, which I really love, is I take, for example, a folder like picture, or it could be anything, but you can take picture, and then on the destination, I put it by date. And what that's going to do is that it's for every day. So let's say this photo was taken in, 13 May. It's going to create a folder 13 May and put that photo in that folder, which is really what I want. So I say go to picture and put this by date. I'm going to click on import, and that's going to take the photo from my SD card, put it into my picture folder by date, which is really cool. Okay, so now we come to the library module, and you can see the photo appear here, and it's by date. See, created a folder 2024. 9 photos are from, I'm guessing, January, 2nd of January. 1 photo is from 20th of January. 3 photos is from the 3rd of June, and 1 photo is from 28th of March. Okay, so I picked these photos so you can see it's here, and the first thing I want to do is, before I go to the develop module, I want, for example, this day I took a lot of photo of the same subject. And now I have a technique that I want to show you. Again, it's the 80-20 rule, meaning I want to show you 80% of Lightroom by only doing 20% of the action, the 20% you need to know. So one thing, for example, that I always do is the star system. Whenever I do a photo shoot like this, I bring in the photo, and if I see a photo that I think has potential, I give it a 1 star. So I just press a 1, okay? And I keep doing that until I like this one, maybe 1 star. I keep doing it. Ooh, I like this one, long exposure, 1 star. I love this one, 1 star. I love this one, 1 star, okay? And all of this, if you right click and you go to Go Folder in Library, you will see it's from that shoot where there was 9 photos, right? So I gave a 1 star to the one that I like. And now here is a really cool trick. Then I make sure you press T on your keyboard so you have the stool thing. Then you go here and make sure you go to Rated, okay? And Rated by default is gonna give you a 1 star rating. Is going to select only the one that have 1 star. So now I got 5 photos that have 1 star. But you see, I kind of like the game of Highlander. I don't know if you saw the movie. There can be only 1. So maybe not only 1, but I'm going to go through and all the photos. Usually when I have very little, what I do is I shift select, and then I press N on my keyboard, and then I press shift tab so that I can see the photo, and I'm like, okay, which one do I really want to work with? I think this one is amazing. 2-star on this one. So I'm gonna give it 2-star on this one. This one is amazing, 2-star, and this one, 2-star, okay? And now I can go Shift Tab to get out of the full screen mode. I can select just a 2-star, and now I have the 3 photos to work with. Now this one, I only have 1 photo for that day, so there's nothing to select. This one is an HDR photo that I'll show you later. I'm gonna show you how to do HDR, and this one is only 1. Okay, cool. So now, if I select by 2-star, I'm ready to retouch. So let's just start retouching. Let's go to the develop module and let's do the natural drama formula. So the natural drama formula is 5 steps. And if you follow these 5 steps with your raw file, I promise you everything will go fine. Step number 1, exposure. So exposure, what I do is I open a shadow, I bring down the highlights all the way, plus 100, minus 100. You heard that right. And then I hold down the Option key if you're on a Mac. If you're on Windows, it's the Alt key. And then what I do is I go down here and I find what we call a black point. Yeah, that's what about, I like that, black point. Ooh, black point. So what you see here in blue and green is 100% black. So now I got a strong black point, and then I'm gonna reveal the photo with the white point. You see, I'm revealing the photo. Look at that. Okay, I like that. And you do that, it's just like a personal taste. You do that until you like the exposure. So plus 100, minus 100, you do the black point, and you do the white point. And if you press the backslash key, you can see the before and after. So now we've done step number 1. Okay, step number 2 is going to be the white balance. Don't try to do the white balance until you got your exposure right. It's very important. So on this one, I can go to daylight, I can go to cloudy, I can go to shade. I think the sunset a bit warmer. I think I'm gonna go to shade, but I have a special formula for sunset is I go to shade and then I add a little bit of magenta. Actually on this one quite a bit. I like that. Okay, good. So that's kind of cool. I make sure the photo is sharp by clicking on it 100%. I'm happy with that. Maybe let's add a bit more contrast. Check this out, before and after, it's already looking great. Now, I want to do step number 3, which is refining colors. So what is refining colors? Well, basically what I do is you go here in the color mixer. Now, when it comes to sunset, I do one very simple thing. I just go to saturation and I boost the 3 warm colors by adding like plus 40, maybe not so much, like a little more. And that's just gonna make the sunset or sunrise really pop. You know, that's one way of doing it. Or what you could do, which is this new option, is you go to point color. You can click on any color. Let's say, for example, that yellow, and you're like, oh, I want that yellow to be more red. Or so one trick, if you use that, you have to move very slightly that circle. Like you literally have to stay within the dot there. If you go further, it's going to look weird. But on this one, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go to this and just add a bit of saturation on the warm color. That's all I'm doing on that step. And check this out. Before, after, you hardly see it. It just gave a little punch to this. So that was step number 3. Step number 1, exposure. Step number 2, white balance. Oh, by the way, I wrote a whole book called Lightroom with Natural Drama, which shows you that with a lot of examples. It's a reference book. You can get it for free, the ebook version. And once you get it, I'm going to ask you to what email I should send the book to. And right away, I'm going to try to sell you my latest course on camera settings, composition, and the full course on Lightroom. An incredible price. Anyway, just so you know, and that's the link is under the video. So now, mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's still a little too blue, so I'm just gonna, sometimes you have to go back and forth. I think my stable data when it comes to sunset is I move this slider until I still, still have some blue in it. See, I warmed up the photo. For me, the white balance is completely arbitrary. It's totally based on taste. So I kind of like that. And then I'm gonna take the crop tool, because the next step is going to be the dodge and burn. And what I do is always crop my photo before dodge and burn. This one is too symmetrical, like the bridge is really right in the middle. I don't like this. I want to use the rule of third. So I'm going to go to 16:9. I might even zoom in a little bit more. And I'm like, you have to ask yourself, what is nicer, the sky or the water? I think the water is kind of nicer in this case. So I'm going to do like 1/3 of sky, and 2/3 of water, something like that, around the rule of third. Okay, yeah, it's kind of more dynamic to me. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do my classic dodge and burn. For this, I'm gonna click here and I'm gonna take a linear gradient. Now, and I'm gonna click and drag. Okay, so you see, click and drag, you get like a red overlay. Okay, now that overlay, you see, if I lower the exposure now in this new menu, basically that value here of minus 0.55 is gonna get applied from the red dot to the white dot by a gradient. So very short gradient, let me go out to show you. It's gonna be almost visible. Very long gradient, it's gonna be smooth. And then you can move around the gradient how you want it. What I'm trying to achieve here is to darken a little bit the top of the photo and maybe add back some blue. I think I took some of the blue out. Something like that. I kind of like that. And if you want to see before and after that gradient, yeah, it really focuses the eyes, inside of the photo. Okay, then I think I want to do the same thing at the bottom. So I'm going to go here and add another gradient at the bottom here because I just want people to look inside of the photo. So I'm going to slightly lower the exposure there. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to show you another tool which I use all the time, which is a radial gradient here. I'm at a big radial gradient. And on this one, it's the same idea. You see in red is where this is going to get influence. I can add a bit of exposure. I can add a bit of yellow maybe. And it's just going to maybe lower the exposure. It's actually, yeah, lower a bit the exposure. It just, and I can make that sunset pop even more. Check it out. Before the circle, after the circle. It just makes it pop a little more. Okay, and then the last step is to add sharpening. So I have this photo is actually quite sharp. So sharpening, what I do is very simple. If the photo was shot around 100 or even lower, like in this case, check this out, 50 ISO. I was forcing the long exposure, so I went down to 50 ISO, f16 to really get a long exposure effect. So what I do in this case is I just go down here on step number 5, and in this case, I'm just going to increase the sharpening to about 90, and then I'm going to do my my noise reduction at 10. 10 is very little noise reduction because it's got almost no noise. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold on the Option key. I'm going to move my masking tool, okay, so that the sharpening of 90 that I put there, 89, is only going to be, you see, you move this only where the white is. So only where there is white is going to get sharpened. You don't need to sharpen the clouds. Okay, so now the photo is sharpened, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's not, honestly, it's not that great, but check this out. I can take the next photo that was taken in almost 2 minutes after, and I can click here on previews, and everything we have done is going to get applied to the photo. Now it's going to look weird at first because the cropping is going to be weird. So let's just go to the cropping, and then let's maybe recenter this. Especially you know what, I'm just going to go to cropping, and I'm going to click on reset, and then I'm going to go down here to transform, and I'm going to click on auto to make it straight. Okay, auto is behaving weird. That's fine. That happens all the time. So when auto is behaving weird, what you can do is, first I'm going to rotate the photo until my horizon is about straight. You can follow the grid. Okay. And then maybe just move a little bit the vertical to make it even more straight. Use the grid as needed. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm happy with that. And now I think I'm still going to go 16:9 because I really love 16:9. They want to go a little closer. And you see, most of the heavy lifting is done because we just copied what we just did here. And then I can just go in here and move like the circle, put it maybe a little bit more here on the left. And I can adjust. I think, I can maybe make it even darker. But I kind of like that, and then before, after, like just one click. And I can take the third photo and click on previews and do the same thing. See, boom. It's almost retouch. On this one, I'm just going to increase the exposure. I'm going to double check the black point. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I think the circle is too much in this case. The circle, where is the circle? The gradient, I'm going to put it here. This gradient, I'm going to put it there. And the circle is here. Let's see how it's influenced. It's kind of okay. And then move around the white balance. Yeah, I'm kind of liking this. I mean, and of course, I have to make this photo straight, so I'm going to take the angle tool. You just click and drag around the horizon to make it straight. And voila, so I've retouched these 3 photos before and after pretty fast. And you know, they're okay photos. I think my favorite, I don't know, I kind of like this one. Okay, cool. So let's go back to folder in library and let's take this one. This one is a portrait because again, I'm just trying to show you the 20% of Lightroom you need to know. So I'm going to go to the development manual on this one. And actually, let me reset the photo because it was already retouched a little bit. So I'm going to open the shadow on this one. So on portrait, I go much more gentle. I move the slider a lot less. And I'm just going to do a black point. And I really love the lens that I use. I use like a $50 Russian lens on this one. And that does this like crazy bokeh. But like she's pretty sharp. And it's like a very old lens from Russia. I made a whole video on this one. Okay, but you see she needs a bit of work on her skin. So all I did was do a little bit of exposure thing. So on portrait, it's different, the natural drama formula. Like I just do exposure, white balance. Let's see what shade is going to give me. That's too warm. Let's go to daylight. Yeah, I think daylight is good on her. You know, maybe make it a bit darker. Okay, but then what you do on portrait is you go here and you can go directly to, you see it's going to detect that it was a person. You click on person. And in this case, I want to retouch her facial skin, her body skin, her eyes, her iris, the lips, the teeth. And that's about it. And I said, create 6 separate masks. Boom. And now I got a mask for everything. That's the power of Lightroom, guys. It's, you see, and on the mask number 1 is I'm on the face. So on her face, all I want to do is basically add a bit of exposure. And then I want to add a little bit of minus clarity. Minus clarity is just going to add a bit of softness. Okay, a little bit of softness. Again, I'm trying to show you 20% of Lightroom so that you get started. So now that's the body. I'm going to do the same thing, a bit of exposure and a little bit of minus clarity. You know, girls love minus clarity because it makes a wrinkle go away. It's kind of cool. It diffuses the skin. Okay, then the next one is going to be the eye. A little bit of white on the eye. Not too much. It's going to look like a cat. Just a little bit. The next one is the pupil. Same thing. Not too much. It's going to look like a cat. Just a little bit just to make the eyes pop. And then we have the lips. Lips, I only add a bit of saturation. You know, just to make the lips better. And then the last one is the teeth. Usually I desaturate the teeth. So they're a little bit, not completely, it's going to look weird, but just a bit of desaturation. And you can see before and after all the mask, it does make a difference. And if you really want to get a perfect skin, then we should go to Photoshop and do that. And actually, my next video is going to be on that, on like what to do. I want to give you like a full Photoshop course for free and show you how to do that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. But I'm already liking this. Check this out. Before, reset, after. Wow, really came to life. Okay, right click. Let's go back to folder in library. Let's take the next one. Okay, this is an HDR. I did it for the mayor of Las Vegas. They wanted the official photo of Welcome to Las Vegas. So check this out. I'm going to select all 3 and I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to Photo Merge HDR. And then I'm going to go to, I'm just going to go to Auto Align, no deghosting on this one. And then, now every time I do an HDR when there's like a really high dynamic range, I always do the HDR first. And then I'll show you a little trick that I do at the end. So make sure you stay until the end. It's a master trick. So, okay, so now here is the HDR photo. That's the one I'm going to retouch. So again, we're going to do the 5 steps of the natural drama. We're going to open up the shadow. We're going to bring down the highlights. Okay, we're going to do the black. So sometime on night photo, I don't bring down the highlights all the way. So let's go maybe minus 50. I'm going to do my black point. Yes, I'm going to do my white point. Good. And then there's a lot of things to erase in this photo. And then I'm going to do a little bit of magenta. I'm going to do the colors, maybe a little more blue. I love magenta at night because it kills the green. Maybe make it a bit brighter or a little more contrast. No, I want to give it like a night feeling, a nice night feel to it. Okay, Maybe give it a bit of a clarity to make it pop. Yes. But you see the CD wanted me to erase this. There's a lot of cleanup to be done on this image, which I took on purpose for that. Okay, so I kind of like that. So step number 3 is refining colors. In this case, I'm not going to do it because it's not colors. I kind of like the colors there, you know. But let's say, for example, I'm like, oh, this is too orange to me. So I could go to the color mixer, select the orange here, and like maybe like, you know, desaturate the you know, if I go up, it makes it more red. If I go down, I could take some saturation off of that a little bit. Well, yeah, I'm hardly going to touch it. I don't really care. Okay, then the next one, very important, is going to be the dodge and burn. Now, before you do the dodge and burn, that's when you do your cropping. And that's how you make it straight. So I'm going to click on upright and pray. Nah, upright is not good again. So I'm just going to... So what I do is I always start on the rotate. And I want to make sure that basically I'm looking at this tree here. And I'm looking at this. And they should be have about the same angle. Okay, about the same angle. Once you've done that, then you can go to vertical, and then you can make things straight. So I did want to make it straight, and then I'm just going to click on constraint crop, and boom. I like that. Maybe it's a bit too much. Let's give it a bit of a slant, but I like that. But now I have to, the CD actually wanted me to take out the Harley-Davidson sign in this. So the good news is, and last step is going to be the sharpening, as you know. But the last step number 5, is sharpening, but it's also cleanup. That's why I took this photo. So this photo has so much cleanup, it's not funny. So what you can do, you can go here, use generative AI, and let's see, I'm going to select this and all of that and see if it can clean that up. So remove, it's going to send that to the web, and using AI is going to try to remove this. Now that's amazing. We used to have to go to Photoshop for doing that, and we can do a lot in Lightroom now. And you see, it kept this, and you see variation here. You can do 1, 2, 3 different variation. I think I like one more, so okay, that's fine. Also, they wanted me to get rid of the, but I don't need to, so that there's something weird here. So something weird here, I can erase that, and something, that comes from the HDR, I'm guessing this and this. I'm gonna clean that up. Okay, so I cleaned that up. Okay, perfect. Now, I still have all the wires to do, and that's going to be hard, and I'll show you a trick on how to do that in just a second. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and do my dodge and burn. So I've done my, I don't want to crop it more. I made it straight. I'm just going to do a little gradient here, because remember, the eyes goes to the brightest part of the photo, and I just want to darken here so that people really look at Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas. That's about all I'm going to do here for dodge and burn on this one. But now what I'm going to do is check this out. I'm going to take what I did here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go, no, I'm going to press Command Shift C, and that's going to bring the copy settings, and I'm going to say check all, including the mask. I'm going to copy everything that I did, and then I'm going to take the normal exposure, and I'm going to press Command V, or Control, on Windows is Control Shift C. It's basically copy and paste, and then Control V to copy. And what it's going to do is that it's going to copy, including the AI of taking out the pole, and it's going to do that. So now we've got 2 photos. One is the HDR version, and one is the normal version. Okay, and I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to press C. Okay, on the right side you've got the HDR version, and on the left side you've got a normal exposure, and I'm just going to inspect the photo and see which one is looking better, you know, in terms of noise. Sometimes the HDR is going to look weird, and I always inspect to see. There was a lot of wind because it was a bit of a long exposure, so, you know, anything that was, I mean, there was not a lot of wind, but you see that tree moved a lot, so it's blurry on brusher, but that's normal. That tree, and this is very sharp. It's funny, some stuff were moving, some stuff were not. Actually, the HDR version in this case is good. It's just a little quality check. You'll be surprised. Sometimes you find that non-HDR is good. But we still need to get rid of this wire. They're really annoying. So now it's time. We have no choice. We go to Photoshop. There's this new tool in Photoshop that gets rid of wire. It's incredible. All you have to do is find this tool here, the Remove tool. Remove tool, okay? Or J. And then on Find Distraction here, you say Wires and Cables. And you press this, and you pray. Et boom, and voila. So check this out. It took out all the cables. So now what you can do is you can just go File, Close, and Save, and that's going to bring it back straight into Lightroom automatically. So this is the version with the wires, and this one has got no wires. Pretty cool. All right, let's do this one more example. This one I want to show you my workflow on black and white. So develop module, I turn it into black and white, I open a shadow, I bring down the highlights, I do my black point, I do it pretty strong on black and white. I do my white point, the photo reveal itself. Okay, something is wrong on the crop. I'm gonna reset the crop. No, it's good. I'm just gonna go down here, make it straight. It's really not straight, which is okay. That's good now. All right. Add a bit of contrast. I like my black and white to be like my coffee black, like really strong black. Okay, when you do the black and white, it's very important to still play around with the white balance once you got the exposure you want. So it doesn't change much. And you can also go down to this new slider called the black and white mixer, and you can move things around and see. You see, for example, this changes a lot. This detects everything which is orange and either makes it brighter or darker. In this case, I kind of want to make like a frame in a frame, so I'm going to make this darker. Green, aqua, just move things around and see what you like. And that's step number 3. Step number 4, remember, always start with cropping. So crop, it's busy. Step number 4 is like cropping and dodge and burning. So 4x5, not 4x5 actually. No. Let's go free. I want to crop it like this. So it's like the same thing in both sides. Voila, something like that. Kind of like, Instagram format. And then on this one, I'm just going to go. Actually, let me show you this new feature. I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to use the object selection. I'm going to use the middle mouse to make a big selection. And I'm going to select all the contour, the frame in the frame of this photo. Okay, like I just do a rough selection and boom. You see, it did a good job, except it missed this part, which is fine. So you can go here, you can click on the mask and you can click Add, Object, and I'm like, hey, you forgot that. And you sort of force the system. So now this is selected and I can just go on and lower the exposure. Yes, that way, boom, it's there. And then let me show you one more tool, which is really cool, the brush tool. So the brush tool is like a brush. You can brush on a photo. Okay, so I'll show you something. If the feathering is at 0 and the flow intensity is all the way and you want to add some exposure and you start brushing, it's going to look like this, which is really not, it's very visible. But if I put my feather all the way to 100, so I get a very feather brush and I'm brushing, it's already a bit better, but it's still too much. But if I lower the flow intensity, like in the 70s, and I start brushing, you can hardly see it. And if I lower my exposure on my brush, you hardly see anything, and that's what you want. So I'm gonna press delete, and I'm going to use a brush. And in this one, I just want to complexify the light. So I want to make a little bit of exposure on the pyramid here, a little bit here. Just at some point, just add some points of light here, just to make it more interesting. Check it out, before, after. I'm just trying to make it a little more interesting. And voila. So now I've got a whole bunch of photos from this year that I really like. Okay, if I go to my 2024, and one thing I should have done, I made a mistake, is I should have given a 3-star to my favorite photo. So, okay, which one is my favorite? Well, let's say I'm going to give a 3-star to this one, a 3-star to this one, a 3-star to this one, 3-star to this one, 3-star to this one, and 3-star to this one. And I can select 3 stars. And now I've got all the best photo of the year. Okay, but I want to make sure I don't forget them. So I'm going to select them all. And I'm going to go to library, in the library module. And I'm going to go to collection, create collection. And I'm going to call them best of 2024, for example. And I'm going to say include selected photos. Yes. Boom. And now I got a collection here of best 2024. Now let's say I wanted to do a big print of this photo to put in my room, okay? I want to do a big print. Here's my workflow. I always, when I work with printers, I do two things. First of all, I go to the develop module and I always add like at least 0.55 of exposure. Why? Because when you're going to print it, it's going to be much darker. Even if the printer says that he's going to correct it, you have to correct it. So make it a bit brighter. Second, you right click, you export, and you choose where. I'm going to put it on my desktop here. I'm going to put it on my desktop. I'm going to rename it custom name. You can give it a custom name. As I export it, I'm going to call it the Louvre. All right. And now image format for printing, I just use JPEG, but 100%. So there's no compression. It's the best. And that's what the printers love the most. I make sure there is no image resizing. And let's actually call it Louvre print. Okay. Louvre print. Okay. And now let's say I want to post this on social media. I don't need such a big file. So I'm going to right click, export. And this time I'm going to still call it Louvre print, but I'm going to call it Louvre web. Okay. And then I'm going to call JPEG quality. I'm going to go down to like 60%. I can compress the heck out of it and resize to fit. I like to resize at about 3. I use the option of long edge. So what long edge is going to do is going to take like in this case, it's a portrait mode. So it's going to take the longest edge, which is the heights, and give it 3000 pixel and export. And now if I go to my desktop, you can see I got the Louvre web, which is 563 kilobyte, very small, ready for the web, but still great quality. And then I got Louvre print. That's 25 megs, but that's going to give me a great print, okay? And make sure you get the book and make sure you get my course on camera settings, on compositions, and on really all of Lightroom and Photoshop. It's like the master course. You'll get a special price. The link is under this video. I hope this was informative. I tried to squeeze in 20% of Lightroom within just one video, like the 20% you need to do about 80% of everything. Make sure you subscribe because the next one is going to be on Photoshop and you want to miss this one.